Hi, this is Lawrence of STYX, and you are at Popularity.
What was it like revisiting old hits for the Regeneration release?
Well, for me, it was like making a brand new record, because I've only been in the band now 13 years, into my 14th year, and so it was a chance to do songs that I've played over 1,500 times on stage with the band in these years, but have never approached in the studio. So for Tommy and JY and Chuck, it was a chance for them to really revisit their past, and for me it was an opportunity to become part of it, and so I approached it with, kind of trying to walk the fine line between honoring what I thought needed to be, retained from the past, and adding the little bits that have naturally come into play from me being in the band over the last number of years.
What does it feel like being on stage and performing a song that was created like 10, 20, 30 years ago, and just seeing the reaction of the fans today?
Well, it's a brand new piece of music to me every night that we perform it on stage. It's another chance to try to get it right. And but what you're alluding to, as far as seeing the reaction, that's the ultimate payoff, is seeing just what an impact this song has had on generations, and celebrating it along with them.
What do you think it is about the band that continues to intrigue so many people after all this time?
That's a difficult thing to really answer, to answer easily. I think it's a number of factors, and if we overanalyze it too much, I think we might have a chance of making whatever the voodoo is that's in there kind of dissipate. So I want to be careful about that. But I think, generally speaking, obviously all the cultural references to STYX, from movies and from TV shows, and all kinds of places that you just see STYX popping up. It's in people's minds, and they can investigate it now so easily by going onto the internet and just typing in STYX, and you'll just see, you'll be able to watch all kinds of stuff and read all kinds of stuff for months and years to come. So there's that. But really, I think it's the melodic content of the songs have obviously stuck with people for decades now. And I think what helps to reinforce that and kind of galvanize that is the level of performance that we give night after night, and that keeps audiences coming back for more, and now they're at a point where there just seems to be an insatiable demand at the moment for the band to play everywhere around the world, and we're doing what we can to try to meet that demand and loving it.
Do you see releasing Regeneration as kind of a milestone?
Well, it is for those for the earlier members of the band who recorded those songs originally. The first time around, it is a milestone that they get a chance to take another crack at them, and it was a great opportunity to really keep, have the present meet the past. So it's a milestone in that regard. I also think, though, for my own inclusion in the band, we're at a point now where generations have come to know the band mainly through our live performances, and wanted to hear, updated versions, so to speak, of those songs, because that's what they've become so familiar with at the shows. And so it's a milestone for me, and I finally got a chance to do that as well.
Can you compare your STYX career now to when it first started out? Is there a difference in the way that you approach the music in general?
That's a good one. There's yes, there is. Funny enough, it's knowing where to really. It relates to what I just said about regeneration. It's knowing where to really kind of honor the past and keep it as much intact as possible, and that's obviously in the arrangements and in the endless quest to get the sounds to sound identical to the albums. But it's also knowing where you can go a little bit outside the lines and infuse it with your own personality. And as a singer and as a lead singer on a good number of these songs, I have to be able to kind of connect with those lyrics in a very sincere way and have them mean something to me, So that varies over time. So at first when I sang "Come Sail Away," for example, there was a different inflection and a different meaning behind it than when I sing it today. I think one of the most significant ones is early on in the career. Early on after I joined the band, we did a live album that opened up with "Rock in the Paradise," and it's funny, we haven't done it since that year until this year. We started playing it again, or just in the last few months, and that's a song that had 10 years between it. So that really relates to your question, because when I went back and listened to how I sang it originally when I was in the band and how I approach it now, it's entirely different. Even though it's just a rock song, it's the same notes and the same lyrics, there's a different approach to it. I can't entirely put my finger on describing what that is, but I feel connected to the lyrics in a different way and into the performance in a different way now than when I first joined the band.
Mm-hmm. At this point, what do you value most about the band?
That we were able to manage somehow to get on stage, over 100 times a year, and never once have I seen the band coast through a minute of any performance. That is something that I'm particularly proud to say. I've witnessed that on stage. I've been as entertained by the band on stage as the audience have been. And that's saying a lot, because I know these guys so well, and I've played with this band longer than any other band I've ever been in my life. And to be able to say that I've never seen anyone kind of just go through the motions for even a minute is quite astounding, really, and that's something I'm most proud of.
With all your experience in the music industry, what's worse, setting expectations that are too high or setting none at all?
I think you should always anticipate that the audience to try to exceed expectations, really. Everyone has their own level of expectation. Well, it's funny. I guess what everyone has a right to expect or to aim for is to find, what's going to make them want to get up in the morning and live a happy life. That's a very understandable expectation, but in order to do that, you set the bar at different levels. The funny thing is, if you try to dictate the life as to what your expectations are and your demands, expectations soon become demands. and if demands are not, exactly met as you've ordered them from the menu, then you're likely to wind up unhappy. So I think the best of yourself and expect yourself to give everything you've got. And if you do that, it's likely that you may just wind up being a happy person. So, yeah, as Charles Dickens said, great expectations. Well, I don't know what he said exactly. I just know they had a book called Great Expectations. and that perhaps they should be ignored and life should just be lived and happiness pursued.
Creating music is like organizing an accident. What do you think about that statement?
Like organizing an accident. Well, that's a great statement. I like it. Organizing an accident. Well, any great song, there are always, you'll hear great songwriters usually say that I don't know, it just suddenly came to me, So there's a little bit of the feeling, I suppose, of an accident, but there's really, there's also a saying where there really are no accidents. Things happen because they're supposed to, and a great song happens just because it's supposed to happen for whatever reason. And you get to be the conduit that it passes through and comes into the world. And yes, it's up to you to organize that happy little accident into some semblance of something that will communicate with people. So I like that statement.
Where do you hope to see STYX in the future?
Yes. I hope to see STYX in the future, period.
Any final thoughts, anything that you'd like to say to the readers of Popularity?
Just keep coming to STYX shows, keep listening to your STYX records, watch out and set your expectations. We'll try to meet them.